it. I put this in ultra low latency, so there will not be closed captions because of that. But the trade-off is your chat will be, the participation on the chat will be almost immediate. So I will be looking at the chat, seeing some questions. So be responsible with your questions as well in the chat. Make sure that it's not too long, so I can quickly just glance through, and I would know what to be paying close attention to address to your questions. So this is not a long form answer. I will be running through the charts as I have already prepared. But if there are pointers or questions that I catch a glimpse of from the chat, I will obviously be addressing them if it's relevant. So I beg your pardon, I will be reading everything, but probably not realistically answering everything. Yeah. So this is just a training video because I found that the week was absolutely beautiful. It's a great week, isn't it? Right? You see how penny perfect the algorithms are, right? I mean, you trade with me throughout the week. You see it for yourself. It's absolutely beautiful, right? So once again, you're closer to me because you're a member now, right? So once again, I ask you, what's stopping you? What's your excuse? You have to take advantage of the information that we have here. If you still cannot see that we have an advantage here, you have to quickly unlearn a lot of your bad habits or the wrong teachings that you have picked up previously, and you have to quickly take advantage of what we have here, right? And you will find a way to prosper, right? And that's what I want from you. Okay, now, just very quickly, let's talk about Friday first, and I will backtrack. I will want to cover, I foresee that this will be maybe an hour-long stream. Let's see how long my throat takes me. It's rapturing my throat, but I will hunker down and keep going. So thank you. That's my way of telling you that I'm doing my best. So once again, Friday, right? Very quickly, right? So I will want some participation. Yes, if you are able to in the YouTube chat, because I want to be touching some more live feedback, so I know how to be looking out for. So the first thing on Friday, right, I want to tell you is, even if you're not trading for the entire day, right, I popped in, and so let's see, what time did I pop in? I don't even remember. I started charting something, right, at about, was it 3? No, 10:25, right? Started charting some early algorithms on Friday at 10:25. And those algorithms, as you would see, were relevant even at the end of day, right? You saw it for yourself. So this is something I want to teach you, right? How to be looking out for profits in the charts at any time. You set alerts and you're always ready. Because as I mentioned here, right? The 2 trades that I was trying to tell you how to take here. Now let's take a look at the 2 trades here. Now the first one here, right? This one, if it's heading up, it never broke through the pink. So if it never broke through the pink, there was no reason to go long. You understand that, right? So that was clear cut. This was clear cut. It's never going to go up. It started heading down, and you see how beautiful the 30-minute chart of that day. So let's take a look at a 30-minute chart. You audit me every single day, right? There's nothing to hide from you, right? I don't have to delete anything or amend anything, right? Everything's there for you to audit. But anyway, you see this, right? Right at the start of Friday, we started selling in that green, and we had that beautiful bounce, right? First candle as well. This was the first candle that we had that bounce top and bottom from the green and the blue. This is money. This is money. You have to learn how to be using this information, translating that in the 1 minute chart to find your microstructure, and reducing your risk to rewards, reducing your risks and increasing your rewards in order to extract profits from this. Penny perfect, right? And thereafter, once we started bouncing off that, this blue algorithm here, right? You see, we started buying in the green. So this was an absolutely beautiful trade if you left some runners, right, all the way to the top. And when did we get the rejection? Once it's no longer in green. When it's no longer in green, guess where it is, right? If you truly wanted to chart this, it's the blue algorithm, right? If you truly wanted to chart this very, very diligently, you see it's the blue algorithm there. Type blue if you see this blue algorithm. Type blue in the chat. Let me know. Let me know if you can type anything in the chat, so I know that it's working, so I can receive your questions. It's supposed to be in ultra low latency, so it's almost immediate. That's what YouTube is telling me. Yes, okay, thank you. Okay, got it with the blue. Blue is your best friend if you want to short this, all right, in the 30-minute chart. Thank you. So let me know if you have questions, all right, so I can take a quick glance. Okay. But more importantly, it's the orange here, because I talked about the orange selling. And so this is also a form of tapering, right? If you want to short this. So say at this point here, right, you see green buying up off that bounce of blue, right? So you see this trending up here. At this point here, when do you short this? When do you short this? Tell me when do you short this? You will have the best chance to short this only if it breaks the green. You see that, you notice that, you understand. Yeah, so if it's grinding up like that, you don't short this. Yeah, if it's grinding up like that, right, some of you just find your chance, you just want to keep shorting this. Now, granted, this is a good point to short. Yeah, if you can see the magenta early here, this is an absolutely beautiful way to short this. And I believe that was 1045. Yeah, it was this candle off that orange, right? So this was a good opportunity to short here, but it shorted and stopped at the green, right? So you had very good risk to rewards. You see that? It's still your 30-minute chart. So if you're new here, 30-minute chart is your good friend, right? If you don't see a 30-minute chart trade that can be translated into 1 minute chart, you don't take the trade. It means that you're participating in liquidity if you take something within the 30-minute trade, the 30-minute chart. So you understand this, right? So if you truly wanted to short this, you don't do it until it breaks, which is here. And you notice it started going down because it broke the green algorithm in the 30-minute chart, right? Look here, 30-minute chart here, right? Your best bet is when it breaks, if you want it. And this is a message to you, right? If you're the type that always wants to call the reversal early, right? So I'm trying to tell you, there is a minimum criteria for you now. Does it always mean it's going down if it breaks the main algorithm? No, it doesn't. But you are reducing your likelihood of failure now, right? Especially those that are just dying to call a reversal in one way or another, especially when you're already in the strongest algorithm. You understand that, right? Now, when you understand this, oh goodness. Right then, there was this beautiful trade of the magenta, right? So you saw the magenta forming liquidity. It actually started from here, right? This was actually quite beautiful, right? The magenta was building liquidity already. Now you notice that the pink, you have to be very careful. And this is why. Now, these are all very micro trading decisions. Because realistically, you would have charted the algorithms here like that, right? So if this breaks out, you notice this broke out slightly before it started failing, right? this happens. And this is why. Now, this is the reason why I always tell you, do not take breaks if you see there is a bearish algorithm that's starting to form. In this case, the magenta is actually still in control. You notice that. So cases like this, I would always tell you, wait for magenta break before it starts buying up. You watch me daily, you would have already be able to understand what I would be telling you, right? So you understand this. When you understand this, then you will not be faked out so much on the break of algorithms, right? Break of algorithms is not the best confirmation, right? I always tell you, you have to wait for stronger precision breaking out or breakout and retrace, or in this case, you have to understand, is this buying controlled? Because this is not aggressive buying, this is controlled buying, and it's controlled by the bears. And I always tell you, especially near the top, especially if we are near the top, wait for cups to close, right? Because when cups close, you have more likelihood that it's breaking out of the bearish control algorithms right there. Okay. So understand this will help you a lot in taking a trade, right? At this point here, there was actually another algorithm. If you were diligent in charting this, right, you would have seen this algorithm here. Something like that, right? I can't draw it now because obviously it's a little bit on hindsight and it will not be very accurate, right? But you see something like that, right? You notice that it is a tapering algorithm, right? So this will save you from the break of that pink if you're able to identify this algorithm already at this point, right? So you understand this, and this is not hard. I think you would have been able to do that here. Yep. So understanding who's in control, especially near top of ranges, and being able to translate this into the 30-minute chart as well, right? So you see that there is a clear resistance here because this has been selling in that orange algorithm for the entire week. If this wants to break out, you would have to wait for more liquidity that's building here. So when you understand that, you will be able to treat this a little bit better. And on that day, if I were trading on that day, I would have certainly be able to identify this here like that, right? So if I were to be waiting for more upside, this is what I would be waiting for, and it would have clearly been seen as out of runway, right? We would have ran out of runway here because it's taking too long to build liquidity here, and it's already power hour by then, right? So understand how to see chops here, especially longer chops on Friday, especially extremely dangerous. So taking a zombie trade was likely, but you know, the market wants to do what the market wants to do. This can absolutely head up to, especially near 3 p.m. In strong volume, and that is why I told you, if only this breaks out, right, strong volume all the way up, right, you will see it happen. If you trade long enough with me, you will notice Friday afternoons, if there is strong buying, you will not miss it. It will be the precision algorithm all the way to a very key target. In this case, maybe the moving averages, right? So once again, it's the same thing, more than just theory. Trade together with me. And when you trade long enough with me, you will gain experience. You will see it for yourself, right? There's nothing to hide here, right? All my trades. In fact, if you want to run through every single trade of mine from now until 4 years or 5 years ago, you can absolutely do so. Nothing is deleted here, right? So there's nothing to hide. You can learn. If you truly want to learn, you can do that. And see it for yourself, right? The market is always there. It's always open. So the reason you're watching this, I know you're not a hater, right? So I absolutely love you to death. Even in close to death, I would be serving you. So you hear me, you see me. I want you to be victorious. So learn something, right? And take your time to learn this. I'm not going anywhere, right? Plenty of information here too. But you've got to do this, all right? So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for committing to learn. So Friday was quite straightforward, right? Okay, let me just catch up on the comments a little bit so I know I'm not missing on anything. Yeah. Yeah, I'm coming up with a glossary of I'm coming up with the glossary of the terms that will be done. Right. So anyway, what I'm trying to tell you on Friday is simple. You can miss the entire day. Anyway, I will share this trade. I took a trade here. I will share with you on. I think I can share it with you by tomorrow, once the trading platform is back online. They do take the weekends for some maintenance, so I'm not able to open it. I tried it earlier, but anyway, right? You can just wait for a trade like that, for example, right? That's 100% trade there. Now, if I'm not wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? From here, oops. From the break of Magenta all the way down here, this is, I think, it's possible. It's 600% trade. I could be wrong, but I think it is. Now, if you took this trade here all the way down, let me know. Yeah, if it's this is massive, right? And it happens. It does happen. In the market, it's in a beautiful precision algorithm as well. The better trade, I would have preferred this trade, right? Will be the break of this. I'm sorry, it's the teal. This trade that I talked about. This was the trade that I would have preferred, right? Because I didn't see the reason why I thought it would bounce is because we were close to that 680 there. So I was a little worried it was not heading down. The green, I think I mentioned this, the green failed twice, right? So it's not heading down, especially nearing to that point here. So I was waiting for a bounce here, right, at that break, and you see it happen. Penny perfect. You see it for yourself. Absolutely penny perfect. Now, the challenge for trades like that is, especially if you're a newer options trader, is you do not know how to choose the right strike, right? And therefore, you're not able to extract massive profits from here. Now, the difficulty on that particular day is because the IV, the implied volatility, was slightly higher. So usually on the final 10 minutes, what I would advise you is to just take something, 1 or 2 strikes out of the money. That's it, 1 or 2 strikes only. By then, a single candle move that's 0.5 points to 1 point will get you in the money. And it will give you very good rewards. So your objective nearing to the end of the day is to get in the money. You understand that, right? The difficulty in very high IV environment is that the market anticipates that it may take. So take a look here, right? We moved from 680.7 all the way to 682. So the final 10 minutes, they expected a 1.5 move, and that's 3 strikes. So the usual is about 1 strike, right? 1 to 2 strikes, so that's a very good balance. But now you have about 3 strikes, so 2 to 3 strikes range. So this is fair, right? Because this means that it has increased in volatility by about 50 to 75%. So 50% more in increased volatility will price you out, especially if you have a smaller account. Or if you're choosing something that's cheaper, you may not get in the money or get paid. Or you do not take your profits once it's out of the position. So you can be, for example, 100% here, right at the top of the green candle, but immediately go to 0% once it doesn't follow the precision algorithms. So you have to practice this. And final 10 minutes, it's almost impossible to be reaping the full rewards, right? You often see me take final 10 minutes trade, and the trade usually goes up to 10x, right? But I would have taken my profits by 5x. And that's fine. I'm actually happy with that because I am a practical trader. I actually trade properly, real. The people who don't trade for real, they will always tell you about this 10x. But the real trader, knows the difficulty, and 5x is respectable enough. So don't let people douse you with in negativity, right? Telling you, oh, you didn't catch the full move. Who cares, right? You got the money, right? 5x is respectable. So the point is this, right? It's not about catching the full move. It's catching the safe moves, right? And so many times you can see the safety is in the precision algorithms. The safety is in the precision algorithms, right? So identify the precision algorithms. Now, I want to be... let me catch up on the comments once in a while, right? So let me read out now. Let me read the comments here. Reading comments. I'm reading the comments. Yep. So you see, if you have been practicing, you see how the likelihood of even half a point or even a single candle can give you 100% trade, right? So there's absolutely no need to be holding for the entire move. Oh yeah, someone said it got to 6x. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Right. The first break of teal. You can take the first break of teal, absolutely. You can do that. And by then you would have, let me tell you honestly, right? You can check the historical options prices too. You can check it for sure. This break is 100% trade. It is. And as I tell you, you have to catch the candle. You remember I talked to you about refresh rate? Your eyes and your actions, you can only register with the 1 minute candle. To me, that's the sweet spot. So if you see this large red candle, especially in the final 10 minutes, I am taking profits, man. And this will absolutely be 100% trade, especially if you're looking to catch the break here, right? And by then, right, you would have been safe. It went down, right? And you see the retracement there. And it broke out again. Maybe you caught it, maybe you don't. But if I were trading this, what will happen is this. If I took the first break of teal, right? If this is 100% trade, say I have 10 contracts, I will close 5 at 100%. Or close 6 or whatever, right? You more than half. The other half is absolutely free because you think it's going to go up, right? Some of you I saw some of you talked about the orange, and you're absolutely right because it was the orange that was trying to buy. Orange is not good enough for me, especially in the final 30 minutes trade. It's just not good enough for me. But if you already have taken your 100% profits, you can allow your runners stress-free to be nurtured in that orange. Absolutely. Now, this information can be used in many ways, right? Because it's not just for people who are betting against the market with out-of-the-money options, right? That's the best risk to reward. Yes, absolutely, right? But you notice there are times. So say, let me explain this to you. I know we're not selling anymore, right? And we started bouncing up. So if you wanted to catch this full move here, you know that it's heading up, but you are not able to, say know which algorithm or the precision algorithm is not stable. You have seen me do this. What I would do is I would take a call that's deep in the money. So in this case, using SPY equivalent, right, I would be taking 679C, right? You understand that? In order to ride the way up. You understand the logic here. Now, this is not ideal because the spreads will be ridiculously bad, right? You will have terrible spreads. But that's one way you can do this. It's still doable, especially when you know it's not going out of the money anymore, right? So this is just an example. 680 may be slightly risky. So another way you can do this is to take 1 day to expiry. You can do that instead of taking something that's deep in the money. If you're buying shares or if you're trying to sell puts, right? Some of you very aggressive. You start selling puts here. 0 day to expiry puts. Why not? Right? You're selling the lottery tickets to the gamblers who are gambling this. Right? So you're starting to sell puts because you notice this. So what I'm trying to tell you is a million ways to trade this. The information I'm giving you here, you can trade this a million ways, right? This is strategy. You can evolve your strategy into different types of tactics. Understand that? Right, okay. Let me catch up with the comments while I catch my breath. Yeah. I mean, your broker, if you're obviously low in margin, then you have to find a better broker. That's for sure. The reason why they don't deal with all these. So Robinhood, for example, is infamous for not allowing you to trade the final 30 for some of you. There are some that don't allow you to trade 15, the final 15. That's because they don't have sufficient liquidity for you to make your gambles. So you need to find a strong platform to do that. Because you must understand your broker is betting against you too. So there's you. Let me explain this quite simply. That's you, right? This is your broker, and this is the exchange, right? And the exchange goes to the charts. So whatever you see on the charts comes from the exchange. You place an order, it doesn't go to the exchange directly, right? It goes to your broker. Your broker, usually, rubbish ones, trade against you. All right, so this is the reason why you have rubbish brokers sometimes. You just have to be very careful. They trade against you before they put it in the exchange. Yep. So you've got to know this, right? This is the sad truth. Yep, it's the sad truth. So you're not even fighting the big boys yet, right? You're very. The person selling you arms is shooting you from behind. Yep, you understand that. All right. So anyway, when you understand that, then you will not be lamenting that someone is stop hunting you. The person that's actually stop hunting you is your broker. And so if the broker has very limited liquidity, obviously you become liquidity for them. Right? So they are not able to compete in the final 30 or final, because just take a look at the amount of volume in the final 30 minutes, final minutes here. It's massive. Right? They are not able to cope with that. They probably don't have the proper algorithms for that. Right? So okay, let me just catch up on the comments. Sorry for the heavy breathing. I can't breathe from my nose, so my throat's in bad shape too. I'm sorry about that if you're listening from using headphones. Yeah, I apologize for that. Okay, now on to Thursday. Friday, anything else? Just one more minute. Friday, anything else? I think it's quite straightforward. What I want to teach you is that you can trade just 10 minutes a day. That's absolutely fine. Yeah. Okay. Now let's go to Thursday. Now Thursday was fun. Thursday was ridiculously fun. Let's explore this. If you remember Thursday, right? I talked about. Let's turn off VWAP. I don't really like VWAP. It misleads you more. You only realize I use that for safety, right? VWAP. But otherwise, try not to confuse yourself with more indicators that you don't understand, right? So VWAP is a weighted average. It's like a more accurate average, right? The word average, for the average person, you don't know what average really means, right? So anyway, in your high school, you learn average, your mean, your median, your mode, right? So basically, these are many different ways of telling you something in the average, right? So high school math, yeah, you remember. As you get better, as you go to college, you learn about distributions, right? You learn about normal distributions. You understand about the standard deviations. You understand the variance in your statistics. So the point is, there's average and there's accurate average, right? So VWAP is a form of accurate average because it's taking there's a weightage to it. That's why it's a weighted average. And the point of using average is to return to safety. If the market's indecisive, it may return back to a form of average, right? Because that's how it works. Everything returns back to average one way or another. Everything returns back to average because your average starts to either trend down or trend up according to the data, right? So if the data is top heavy, the average trends up and you will eventually return back to average. That's just the beauty of math. Yes, you understand that? If the data is bottom heavy, your average will trend down eventually, right? And you will meet your average. This is math. This is why. So what I'm teaching you is math. I major in it, right? Although I forgot most of it now after so long. But wow, those days, man, my goodness. You should see how much math I do. This is math because it's a form of returning to average. Yes. So I will touch a little bit more about this in the course over time. But as you understand what I'm trying to teach you now, I'm not just taking them. I'm not just blowing hot air or just plucking bunnies out of the hat or whatever you're thinking. It's proper math. You have to understand that. So if you don't understand if you don't understand the indicators that you're using, don't use it, right? If you don't understand what VWAP is, don't use it. Understand that, right? Okay. Let's just catch up on the. Right. All right. Now, this was Thursday, right? Thursday was fun. Let's take a look at Thursday. Yeah, Thursday was here, right? Nothing to worry about on Thursday, isn't it? As I told you, if you missed certain trades, right? I think the thing about Thursday is this: psychologically, you have to be ready that you will miss trades. Absolutely, right? You will absolutely miss trades on Thursday. You would have. I wouldn't think everyone caught the trade, but you see the beauty of Magenta. So once Magenta started building liquidity here and started gliding down, you notice I talked about this. Now, you can't please everyone. This is a message that I tell you all the time. If you caught this Magenta break, this is just marvelous for you, right? If you miss this trade, you will struggle to find an entry here. You understand that, right? Now, how do you deal with this? So once again, same strategy, but many different tactics to deal with that same strategy. All right, so let me explain them now. Now, if you caught this trade here on the break of the Magenta, now you have to learn. You have to practice. So catching the trade is just part one, right? I want you to start reviewing and learning how you can keep your runners going all the way down. Now, two ways to nurture your runners, right? The two ways to nurture your runners. The first way of nurturing your runner is to just protect once, right? You protect one. So maybe for a start, you can do this. If you're trading 10 contracts, for example, right? I challenge you. You close 9 and you just leave 1 to run either in that precision algorithm. Now, this doesn't happen all the time. I can tell you maybe once every month you get a clear-cut precision algorithm all the way down. Maybe once a month. So you'll be more disappointed than not. You let the runner run all the way down within the algorithm, right? Or within the 30-minute algorithm, right? In this case, it started running down in that green algorithm in the 30 minutes. So you just let it run. Just let it run in the green. So you use the 30-minute chart to nurture a runner that is completely inconsequential, right? You open 10 and you close 9 for profits and you just leave 1 to run. Practice. I want you to practice. Now, eventually, you will want to at least have 30% of your runners within the precision algorithm. Even better, I want you to learn to reload. What does that mean? It means you take profits and open new position, take profits, open new position, take profits, open new position, take profits, open new position, take profits. You are practically becoming the algorithm. Understand that, right? So that's one way. Now, when you practice this enough, then you will learn how to chase. Now, I'm going to teach you something called chasing trades. But I need a toilet break again. Give me a minute. Take this time. Please leave a comment. Let me know if you understand what I'm talking about, so you can reinforce your learning by just typing what you have learned. And if you have questions, just let me know. Can you give me, please, probably 5 minutes? I need to just take a quick run and just clear some of my throat, some phlegm in my throat. Thank you. Give me 5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes. Okay, thank you for your patience. I'm back. Just let me catch up with the comments. Yeah. Okay, where was I? Vertical axis lines. What's that? Vertical axis lines. Remove. Why? No. I can't remove that. So you have no reference, right? The point of the point of this is for you to reference the price. And obviously the horizontal one will be your time, right? So you know exactly how to be reviewing this when the time comes. Okay, let's go. Now to think about this is, on the real trading floor, yeah? The candles are moving dynamically. Your eyes may not be trained to allow this to run down, right? Because it will spill, right? So for example, this. Now, mathematically speaking, right? This is an engulfing candle. So it negates each other, right? Because if you were to be, for example, looking at a 2-minute chart, right? This doesn't exist because it's an engulfing candle. It's probably a wick. So But when you're trading this and this appears, right? Will you cut? Will you cut your runner? Some of you may, especially when you see a large green candle. So you have to have supplementary confirmations. So in this case, this was why I charted the blue. Now I think I charted the blue before this happens. I think I did. Because this was important, because you know that the blue was the one that's been controlling the selling as well. So the selling was accelerated because it was also being resisted by the blue. So if this breaks out, you have the blue to fall back on. And that's absolutely fine, because the blue was still a selling algorithm, and that means that it's trending down. And so if you're trading properly, you notice it will never threaten your price. It will never threaten your stop loss. You understand the logic behind this, right? So you use a trending down algorithm to manage your stop loss. So you will never be threatened, right? So understand that. Work on that, understanding the secondary. You notice, this is the charts are noisy by nature, right? As penny perfect as we want to be, right? Now, as I mentioned, mathematically, an engulfing candle, this negates itself. But on the real trading floor, you see this large candle, you're going to cut, right? So you have to use supplementary confirmations, as I mentioned here. And if I were you, I would have cut here as well, because you already see... Oh, my nose is blocked badly. Anyway, you have already seen the strong pink support here. So you have to protect your trade. Now, the only... but, because it's selling in the teal, and I told you, I kind of saw this coming, right? And that's why I was this Thursday? Yeah. I kind of saw this coming. That's why at 9:52, I talked about this, yeah? 9:52 was so early, right? It was very early. So I kind of saw it coming. I talked about it again here at 10:53. 10:53 was here. 10:53 was here, yeah? Mind you, we were exactly at that pink. I kind of saw it coming. So I had to disclaim this for you. Because if this wants to continue selling down in the teal, what can you do? What's wrong with that? This is also known as continuation, right? This aggressive seller decides to break through all the support levels. And you notice, once we broke out of that magenta here, once we broke out of that 5-day and 20-day, you notice what happened to the volume? It went up because it triggered all the stops here, right? This is it. This is as it gets. This is how it works. And so you have to learn to be holding runners. If you're taking puts here without understanding teal, if you're taking puts here without understanding teal, right, you will get yourself into trouble. Absolutely you will. One day you will. However, if you saw this and you took puts here, you notice the difference. Let me break it down with you. Let me break it down for you. If you took puts here, you see what's wrong with that? You're taking puts at a support. That's a problem. You're going to get into trouble. You certainly will get into trouble. But if you saw the teal that's continuing to sell, and this is why I talked to you about this, right? Now just check it for yourself. 10:53, exactly here. This was 10:53. I talked about this. If you took puts here, it's very different. Do you know what's different? Or if you took puts by seeing these two algorithms, you're taking puts at a resistance. You're not breaking the cardinal law, the cardinal rule, law, whatever. You understand that? All right. But if you're just taking runners, that's the point, right? You leave runners, that's fine. You leave it down. So what I'm trying to tell you is you can chase this. Two ways to chase this, right? First is you have to identify your resistance. Then you know how to chase, right? So if you see there is a possibility this is going down in teal, as I have shown you, I see the possibility this may continue to go down in teal. Then you use teal as your Risk to rewards. If you took puts here and it didn't work out, what's your loss? Literally pennies. Literally. That's fine. Absolutely fine. You're not going to get into deep trouble. And this has its perks. Sometimes I like to take breaks like that. Why? Because as I've shown you, if you do see the chase happening, right? And by then, I think by this candle here, you would have already seen, firstly, volumes increasing. And we started. The teal continued selling. We broke some very key supports. So you could have absolutely chased here. Now, if you search the Discord server under Chase Trades, you can type Chase here, right? You can type Chase and you will be able to see for yourself. I have talked about this plenty of times. When the stronger algorithm breaks out of that, a slightly weaker algorithm, this is the best time to chase, right? Especially when volume continues to go up. So absolutely, you can get into a trade. You can scale down if you want to, right? That's the point. Scale down. Reduce your risk. You don't want to be full porting here, right? So once again, can you learn to see this? And that's the beauty of this. You cannot please everyone. So for those who, and that's learn every playbook, every play in the playbook, because one day you will be the one that caught this trade. And you have to learn how to be holding your runners, right? One day you will be the one that missed this trade. Then you need to know how to be looking out for the next trade within the same algorithm like that. Whatever. You will have to learn something and it will come in handy to you, because the truth is you need a skill that you can use for the rest of your life. So you have to try to learn as many plays as you can. All right, you understand that? So this was absolutely beautiful. But if your heart's not right, the day's over after this, right? Because you would be in all sorts of emotional turmoil. And I don't like that, right? No one likes that. But you have to be focused. Sometimes you miss the trade. You just have to remain focused. Because you have to know your objective at the trading floor. So what if this missed? I'm telling you, I'm asking you, so what? Nothing is lost, right? We're taking a bad trade, and obviously you have been deep loss because of this. Then my question to you is, why did you start to take calls here? Why? That's the other thing we have to talk about. You have to be very safe with your trade. Now, let's chart the blue, because we identified the blue early. Do you see another chase trade here, right? Off the break of that blue. You absolutely can take that trade. You can do that too if you want to, right? You understand that. So, you can chase a trade, absolutely. But when you chase, the reason I tell you not to chase is because most of you are newer traders and you don't know how to be managing your risk when you trade, when you chase a trade, right? But now you have to understand my position. When I tell you not to chase, I tell you no chase, okay? If you are bothered by this and you decided to not take a trade, that means you're not skillful enough to chase. You see, I have saved you. Maybe I didn't save you this time, but I would have saved you at least 9 out of 10 times. So you see, my comments are not, I may have some authority, but they are not definitive. They are not the rule. They will help you. My words should help you in your trading decision. Now, treat me like an advisor. So if you see my advice, but yet you have certain level of skill to decide, oh, I still can take a trade, but well noted, I will scale down instead. You see, my words have become more powerful because it has impacted you in that way, instead of just taking it word for word, right? So trading cannot be so instructive. You cannot be taking instructions in something that moves literally in seconds. You cannot, right? You have to be so instinctive that whatever I'm telling you has triggered some sort of instinctive response because we have traded together for a very long time. Now, when you play a sport, right, let's say football, I can't be shouting instructions at you, but if you see, for example, if I'm throwing the ball with my right hand and I flick my elbow slightly, and you've seen that gesture before, you know exactly which direction I'm going to throw the football at. You understand the logic. The point is, you trade long enough together as a team, we will understand each other's micro gestures, right? We will be able to understand and communicate with each other, not necessarily with long paragraphs. A trade like that, for example, it happens literally in seconds. What do you want me to do? Am I supposed to type a long paragraph to explain everything? If that takes 1 minute, it means you need 2 minutes to read and digest it. By then, the trade is over. But if you hang out with me long enough, right, I just have to send this. Sometimes I just have to say things like HNS, magenta. That's it. You know exactly what I'm talking about within the half a second. And you know what trade you need to take. So this is a team sport. You and I, we are in the same winning team. But we have to train together. If we don't train together, I don't know you as a trader. You don't know me as a in this sense. I would hope to be your leader in some way, right? But not the ultimate leader, right? Someone else is the bigger boss here. You are the bigger boss because you're the one that's pressing the buttons to make the trade. But I'm leading you in some way, right? A small team leader. And you don't know my style. How can we trade together and make money together? So understand that. You understand your identity. You understand the way we execute. We're going to do very well together. Yes. Let me just catch up a little bit on the comments. So once again, reinforce, right? Just let me know your understanding what I'm trying to say, right? And more importantly, if you have any questions, just drop it down so I can see if I can answer them realistically here. Give me a minute. Let me just drink some water. Let me just catch up with the messages here. Yeah, it's a lot of scattered information. You're absolutely right. But as I mentioned, you train with me long enough, right? It will take time, right? So all the information's there. I am working on a LLM so that everything becomes searchable with AI, so AI can well, in a way, construct something that makes sense with all the information that's here. So that's in the works. It's in the works, yes. Uh, so that's something I told the lifers about as well. So I told the lifetime members about that. So yeah, it's happening, but in the short term, right? Trade with me every day, right? You will literally get better just by showing up and practicing every day. There is just no secret sauce in trading, right? The secret is obviously you have to learn the right stuff, right? So some of you are just learning absolutely the wrong stuff, wrong kind of stuff, right? I don't know. As I tell you, the way for you to discern a person is not through a fancy dinner, right? I will never. I don't want you to be convinced by me over a fancy dinner. I want you to live with me. You stay with me, you see all my micro habits, you see all my habits, you see all my style, and you discern whether this is the right thing for you to learn. And when you learn the right things, then you show up every day and just practice a little bit. You just get better every single day, and you will just get the small wins. You clock it up. You will realize at the end of the day, when you look back, you have already accumulated an objectively bigger win. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Take your time. Yes, as I was mentioning, right? I am yeah. I've changed my child's name to Magenta. How did you know? So anyway, Sunday gives me the we're not stressed. I'm very stressed on trading days. You don't know that. You can't tell, right? But I'm extremely stressed up on trading days. Not because of my own trades, but because of the requirement to give instructions to you. So I'm alright if I'm trading by myself. But I'm worried, I'm filled with worry about whether I would have given a wrong instruction or that particular instruction would have been misinterpreted. I worry, I truly do. So it's very stressful for me on trading days. So on weekends, it helped me. It helps me to take my time because we're not confined by the movement of the market on weekends. And I can teach like this, very casually, taking time. So I appreciate you tuning in on weekends because this is when I get to properly deconstruct some things and take my time to explain it to you. So I apologize sometimes on weekdays. I am not. Things are in brevity on weekdays, right? You see that it's because it's fast paced, right? The market moves literally in seconds. And if I have to send out my information, I have to do it literally in seconds while also trading, while also catching up with some messages. So I love the weekends. I truly enjoy this. I hope you can see that. But I thank you. You're the reason I enjoy doing this on weekends, right? So thank you for watching this. Thank you for letting me know that my work is not in vain. Because I truly want you to do well this year. I truly do. I want you to experience the victory that I have experienced for myself and, for your children, for your family. Many people, so many of you, you're good people, man. You are good people. I see your chat history. I know. I read your messages. You are good people. You deserve so much in your life. And if this is the little thing I can do for you, I will do more. I will do more. And I know this, whatever we're doing here, right? It has, well, obviously, this is my career. This has been my lifelong career. So it has changed my life. But more than just that, right? It's a legacy I want you to build. Because without money, It's very difficult without resources, not necessarily money, right? Without resources, without a good character, it's difficult for you to build a legacy for your children, right? And that's what the lifetime membership was about, right? I was telling you. So lifetime members, if you're here, shout out to you. I told you that we have to build something that your children will look at you and be proud of. They're not going to be proud of you with $1 million bank account. Yeah, they may thank you for, I don't know, 5 months before they use it all up if you don't train them properly. But you're leaving something, as I tell you. When I share with my children that I repeat this all the time, that I told them I am in the board of a social service, they were gleaming with pride in their eyes, right? Because it's something, I have expensive cars. I've had expensive cars. I've owned planes, not the small ones, not the big ones. And I've never seen my children being proud of me with all that, right? They were happy, excited, yes. Excitement, yes. But not pride. But when they know, I'm serving a bigger purpose, the pride in their eyes, I want that for you. I've experienced it myself. I have it. And I know, especially if you're a parent or if you're going to be, or if you're, the reason you're working so hard is to feed your family. I know that too. Most of you. Or your future family, because you have preparation for that. But I want that for you, right? That sort of victory. So thank you for allowing me to do this on weekends and, tuning in as well. So anyway, let's carry on. Thursday, I think we're done. Let's talk about Wednesday. Yeah, you good? You need a coffee? Yeah, go get a cuppa, yeah. So I lived in, I worked in Melbourne for about 2.5 years. I was posted there to do some. We were supposed to invest in some mining companies there, right? So I spent a good amount of time there. So lots of coffee in Melbourne, I tell you, the best coffee from Melbourne. Right, and people say it's you get good coffee in Seattle. No, not a chance. You have never been to Melbourne. If you have, you've best coffee from Melbourne. Anyway, yeah. Now let's take a look at Wednesday. Now I want to show you something from Wednesday because once again the same thing has happened. Right, it happens more often than you think. So don't worry about missing it. Right. Yellow, magenta, head and shoulder pattern, right? In this case, you see the breakout and retracement. It happened. And then it started selling down in that precision. Not a problem, right? You have seen this happen time and time again. So now I'm teaching you the tactics. If you caught the trade, how do you leave a runner, right? And if you have not, how do you chase it? Especially when we lack structure. So in the Discord, I have to tell you to wait for structure. That's my responsibility. I have to tell you to wait for structure. But if you already have some skill, have some practice, then obviously you know how to be chasing a trade. Once again, take a look. Because we identified the teal, you see the breakout and retrace of that blue. Absolutely beautiful, isn't it? Right? So this is another chase trade that I was trying to explain right here. Now, nearing to end of day, once we started bouncing off the moving averages. Now, this is the reason, right? You have to understand my thought process. We already bounced off the, that's a new magenta, isn't it? That's a beautiful magenta. Why did it turn into that color? No, it's red. Anyway. Okay, anyway. The reason we bounced off, right? This was already the market trying to soak up the buyers. This was the reason why we cleanly went down here on Thursday. Because we have already soaked up all the buyers. You see that, right? And the very reason why on Thursday I suspected that this would just slide right down into you. That's the only reason, because we had context on Wednesday. Now, I want you to see things like that and you learn, because sometimes you will see it happen again, right? Now, that strong bounce there, but you notice it was always in the bearish algorithm, because nearing to end of day we started flagging even stronger. It's a stronger bearish algorithm. And this was why I always tell you, if you truly want to call for the reversal, you wait for cups to close, because when cups close, it's a clear sign that all the sellers in this case are being choked up. But otherwise, this will make more sense to you, because I will translate this into the 30-minute for you, in shortly, right, in a while. But can you see this? This is still a massive bear flag all the way down after soaking up all the buyers from the moving averages. And this is why it went straight down like that. This is no surprise to you, because in the 30-minute chart, this is depicted by, drum roll, the blue algorithm. See it for yourself, right? So I always tell you, now if you truly wanted to chart the blue a little bit more, see for yourself. Look, now it's penny perfect, right? But I didn't do that. Now, I want to talk to you about this particular candle, I think. Right, why I didn't, was it that candle? Let's see. What was something that, oh yeah, this one, right? Now, earlier on in the previous stream, I explained why I didn't, no, I don't want accuse. I want SPY. Now, I talked about why I didn't chart this orange slightly higher to this, right? Now, this is known as a rejection candle. Wednesday, I think. Let's see. Let's just confirm this. Yeah, it's a Thursday candle. Yeah. So a Thursday candle, this is a clear rejection candle. Right. So when the market rejected Thursday, right? Let's see. Yeah, Thursday. So the first candle on Thursday was a rejection candle. This is known as your engulfing candle, especially near start of day and end of day. Now, if you watch my videos enough as well, you notice that sometimes end of day, I discount the last candle for end of day. Most of times, if it breaks out of a certain range, right? Because it's just the market calibrating back to equilibrium, right? So the first and the last candle, you just have to be a little bit more mindful. The first and last candle, be a little bit more mindful. It may not be useful immediately, but I would still chart this orange later on, right? May not be useful on the same day, but yeah, it may come in useful later on, because the orders will start being calculated based off this data here, right? But the first and the last candle, usually, especially if it's a large volume or it's a rejection candle, in this case, this was a rejection candle, right? Because it rejected the range quite cleanly, right? The market decided to reject the range quite quickly here. So when you can understand this, was it a 930 candle? Something's not right here. Let me just take a look. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, this was a rejection candle, right? So it rejected the range from that that level here, right? So that was a quick rejection. So it rejected itself out of range. Why out of range? Because you notice that previously, the magenta was here, right? You understand that. So the orange was here as well, right? So you just have to be more mindful about early candles, right? This was a clear rejection, very quick. So I wouldn't have charted at it, right? So this orange remains here. But right now, I will chart this new orange here, because the data will now be based off this as well. So just keep that in mind. Let me just catch up with the comments so I don't miss anything. Yeah, I mean, trade along with me. Yeah, I will. I don't know how to help you, but I will do my best every day. You see, that's the thing, right? I I I don't know how to help you, but I will do a little bit more every day. A little bit, a little bit, a little bit. And if you pick it up, you will be better. You just will be better. That's how we do it as a team. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's go. Uh Now, just a simple tip here, right? You will see this quite often, especially if you're swing trading. I don't like swing trading, but I will teach you some techniques, uh, especially intraday, where you do not see resolution, right? So this is a very common bear flag that takes, in this case, it took 2 days for this bear flag to materialize. So sometimes it doesn't happen intraday. And that's the problem with day trading, right? Some of you want a conclusion within the same day. So I often use this word, running out of runway, right? You see this happen all the time. I tell you this all the time. So in a way, you have to gauge the runway based on the liquidity that's being built. And I will teach you that. So this is when you learn to set alerts. When you realize that you may run out of runway, you set alerts so you know at which point of the chart the action will start picking up. Right? So your first assumption, especially when day trading, is you cannot assume the market will make an action on the same day. We don't always get that sort of luck. And that is why you have to learn to take microstructures. And taking 0.5 point, 1 point trade, you will make enough to feed your family. But the larger trades, yeah, you can learn to set alerts and just prepare accordingly. All right? So you understand this, right? Okay, now I want to talk about, do I want to talk about Tuesday or Monday? Let me just take a look if there's anything to learn from here. Tuesday and Monday. Once again, Monday. I want to talk about Monday. Monday, we started building liquidity from noon onwards, right? It was an extremely boring day, especially if you missed that grind up. The grind up happens. It happens, right? You lack structure, and I think that was actually a very clear structure here with the teal. Right, if you saw this was an absolutely beautiful, especially once it built support of the 20-day moving average. So this was a beautiful trade if you managed to take it. But the problem is that there was only one trade to take before it started running very, very gently in the magenta. Now, trading behavior is this is very common. Buying usually grinds up. You don't see selling grinding down, right? Selling is always furiously down, right? Strong down if it sells. And so, as a day trader, I have a preference for puts for two reasons. Because firstly, you get a shorter trading time, because if it's going down, you wouldn't miss it. As I always tell you, if it's going down, you will not miss it, because it's going to be aggressive, right? And because it will usually be in strong precision algorithms, and you will take your profits quickly. And the second reason is because I am not motivated to take the way up, because I have positions that are going long. Your entire portfolio, you're hoping it goes up, right? Your entire portfolio is a long position. So the times I'm worried is when it goes down, I want to be able to know and be ready to hedge it, right? So if it goes down, I am more interested in it. You understand that? So eventually, that's what I want from you, right? Trades that are going up, you are not concerned, because you're making more money with the market going up than day trading. Because if this goes up, right, but obviously you still need to day trade this because it's a skill, as I always mention, and there's always there's always money to be made. But if you get to that level, as I was explaining, right, that you're not too concerned with the market going up because your portfolio is healthy, it's grinding up, it's going up, you're doing well, and the higher it goes, the more covered calls you can take, right? You can start selling covered calls, and you can extract more profits from there. And when the market goes down, you're ready to extract profits and to hedge your portfolio. So you're more interested in that. As a trader, if you're just focusing on one direction, you will generally do better because you stop second guessing yourself. Many newer traders, they lose money because they keep thinking this is going up, no, this is going down, no, this is going up, no, this is going down, this is going up, you understand that, right? You confuse yourself. But if you just focus on one direction, you're gonna be fine, right? Because you're intently looking out for clues for that one direction. But as a newer trader, I don't want you to be doing that, because when you do that, you do not learn anything. But eventually, when you have a large enough portfolio, that you realize that your trading, right, is broken down into different departments, right? You have your portfolio department, right? You have your income department, you have your accelerator department, right? Blah, blah, blah. You understand, right? You have different departments, then you can have different objectives accordingly, right? Then you can worry only about taking shorts, but leaving your portfolio to be making money on the way up, right? So you understand that, and I want you to work towards that. So for some of you who are just recklessly gambling and day trading, you're doing it wrong, and I often remind you on a daily basis not to do that. Okay? So understand that. Anyway, what I want to tell you on Monday is, if we start to grind up, that's fine. Ignore. Yeah? Because as I always tell you, Monday is about building liquidity for the week. Just take a look for yourself, right? Some of you, obviously, if you whine about Monday and you're like, why is the market like that? I mean, just take a look for the rest of the week. So much movements thereafter. So I don't want you to be that person blowing up your account on Monday, right? Well, the market was building liquidity for the rest of the week. See it for yourself, right? So be patient, right? Monday, I always remind you, it's the start of the week. People start putting positions for the entire week. They start to place their bets. The market's building liquidity. So if you identify very important wedges, right? Let's see where Monday was. Monday was here. On Monday, we already see blue starting to build liquidity after breaking out from here, right? So we already saw the wedge between this and this. So on Monday, we already saw some wedges being built, right? We saw bulls building liquidity. We saw bears building liquidity. And so you just have to be more patient, right? And I want you to start using replay mode for yourself, right? And see for yourself Monday, right? At this point, and this is why you watch the live stream videos that were already concluded, right? The previous videos that I was doing every single day, because then you're able to latch on play after play and know how to prepare regardless of how the market goes, right? So you see that happening, right? The market was building liquidity. Seems bullish, isn't it? It doesn't matter. I don't care if it's bullish or bearish. I'm not going to make a conclusion. I told you this will be bullish, right? It has to break out of the green, especially here. But otherwise, I told you be careful because we're tapering in the blue. And I told you there's very important liquidity here that could be coinciding with the 5-day. You remember that? I told you that, yes? So it's about preparation, right? Don't be predicting and assuming because the market has liquidity everywhere. All right. So practice. Keep practicing. Can I just catch up on the comments. Wow, we're already 90 minutes in. Thank you for your time. It's as precious as mine. I think some of you, your time is even more precious than mine. I don't do much on Sundays. Morning, go to church. Spend some time with my family after that. But some of you have to work. Some of you literally have to feed your family on Sundays. So I'm in a very privileged position. So I'm thankful if you're tuning in, and if you don't have time, please know that. Please know that I am thankful for you. Let me catch up on some messages. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm about done. Right, we covered the week. I have taught you things that you probably have not heard before, or no one else in the world will teach you that. And it's only viable because you trade together with me. So you see, the most important thing is to trade with me, and then this will make sense to you, and you'll realize there's so much secrets within here, right? So just the work we do today on Sunday is actually a culmination from Monday to Friday. So today makes sense only because you worked hard Monday to Friday, and we're just consolidating today. And then it will amplify your knowledge. So that's the thing. Keep working on it every single day, right? Every single day we keep working on it. Okay. All right. I think we're good. I hope I get better. I hope this doesn't aggravate things. But thankfully, tomorrow's a trading holiday, so I get to rest in a little bit more. But let's see how it goes. Thank you for your time. Maybe last 5 minutes, let's just chat a little bit. I want to know, how is it this week? How did you, everything well? And some of your preparation for this week ahead. How are you preparing? How are you spending your time with your family? You're preparing well mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Let me know so I can also keep you in my prayers. When I read, I do keep you in my prayers very, very regularly on a daily basis. Even when I see your trades every day, I review them. I keep you in my prayers. That's what I do. So let me know. Yeah, let's just chat a little bit before we end. In another 5 minutes, I guess. Right. So yeah, I'm just catching up on the comments. Crypto, yeah, it's amazing now, right? The crypto market, absolutely. I have the iBit Play that you had the last time, which already expired. If you took in January 2025, I will provide a closure for that. But it's nothing you should worry about because you have closed it in profits. The entire play about that was to arbitrage between the difference in the premiums. So you would have already taken profits anyway from that trade, right? It's closed. 1 year, you would have, I can't remember how many percent, but it's very good margins that. But it's closed since January 2025. I remember recommending you that. But I will provide closure for that, but I need to read what I typed the last time. Right, but it's profitable. It's a trade. I remember it's closed. I saw my contract expired. Catching up message. We'll end this in under 3 minutes. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, once again, thank you very much for that. Yeah, I'm blessed to have you around. I'm doing my best. Please do yours too. Yeah, we're a team. We're only as good as each other. Right? I know my purpose. I have to do my work. I have to do my best. So must you. Right? Know what's your best. So to me, when I define what I need to do, right? God has led me to be reminded I just have to show up every day and do what I need, right? Guide you on a daily basis. And obviously working on the back-end systems here with the Discord server, right, to make things more searchable, make things more organized, right, create a better streamlined onboarding process, and that's all in the works. There are future projects, as I told you about, right, the bigger projects based on my what I think we can do to impact more people, and also an elevation in your life purpose and your identity, as I have talked to you about the being on the board of something with a bigger cause than yourself or your local community, right? So that is an elevation of identity that I've experienced, that I want from you. So I before my surgery, I traveled quite a bit, not much, but I do take the weekends off to travel and meet with the relevant stakeholders of the different social services that I'm participating in. But now after the surgery, I do have very limited time to travel. I can't. I am just not physically able to. So I'm catching up with them over a lot of just online, teleconferences. But it's not impactful enough for me. I hope I can travel again, and be there in person, boots on the ground, so I can provide more updates for you. I want to be sharing proper photos that I am taking, not from someone else. You see what I mean. But let's see how it goes, right? There are bigger projects ahead, right? We want to rebuild more things. But right now, my involvement is it's not the way I like it. I like to be on the ground. So we'll see how it goes, yeah? Apart from obviously managing all the money for them. As I talked about in the previous live stream, if you remember, I talked about accumulating a principal amount and basically just only spending the dividends, right? That's how a charity should run. So if you have experience running a charity, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You're basically running like a pension fund. The principal cannot be touched. And so in order to scale, right, as I told you, our OPEX and CAPEX, if we, our expenses has to be, for example, if I'm only making 5% dividends, right? In a way, I have to be building 20x capital for every dollar that I spend. You understand what I mean? So for every dollar that I spend for the charity, I need to be raising $20 because of that 5%, right? So you see, that's the thing. This is just spend without growth. So if I'm looking to grow to $2, I have to be making twice of that, $40. So it's exponentially getting more difficult. And that's why it's much more difficult to run a charity than to run a business. Because business, you can take loans, you can get aggressive. Because if businesses fail, and that's the thing, we have many unethical people. If businesses fail, what do? You just declare bankruptcy. That's it. And you just close the business, you lay people off. But when it comes to charities, these are lives we're talking about, man. You can't close down a charity. You can't shut it down. You can't lay off people, right? Because the people you lay off, you're literally going to be killing them. So that's the difficulty. So it's tough. It's not easy, right? As I say. So many people, I read the comments, right? They get so aggressive with me with regards to money, right? But if we have $1 of expense, I need to raise 20. If I need to grow another dollar, I need to make 40. So you see, it's never ending. It's tough. It's tough. But God gave me a gift, and He has blessed me with the ability to continue having this ability to make money. I think for good reason. So I will not stop giving. But anyway, understand that, right? If you are to be the board of our committee, you need to understand how we raise money. So this is a good primer for you, right? Okay, let me continue catching up with messages. Okay, we'll end in another 2 minutes, yeah? Right, for most of you, right, anyway, understanding that for most of you, taxes is a problem. You have to understand how to play around with your taxes, right? This, I cannot advise you. I am not a tax accountant, right? So you need someone who can give you very, very good advice. Not from YouTube, please. That those people are not chartered accountants. They have no idea how to be dealing with your kind of tax situation. There are more affordable tax accountants up there that are very good. I would advise you to get recommendations from your friends or family, but you need someone like that to be with you throughout your entire financial journey, right? This person who's advising on your tax will be a very important person in your wealth journey. So do your utmost to try to get someone qualified and real, so you meet that person and review and know your strategies behind this, especially if you're trading, because the calculation of tax behind trading is very complex, right? So you focus on winning, and the tax accountant will focus on making your capital efficient. You understand that, right? So they're going to make you pay as little taxes as possible. You have to find someone good, all right? Even if you're making small money, right? You have to do that. At this point in time, we are a gig economy now. Even tax accountants have it tough, right? There are tax accountants that are just charging you maybe $5 just for a consultation. Use them, right? They are qualified. It's good enough, right? Ask some questions, right? Ask basic questions, and then you build upon that. And soon enough, you will find very, very qualified tax accountants that charges, right? Some of them charges you 1% of your entire profits, or the tax that you save, they take a percentage of it. And it's fine, because eventually you're still making money. So find someone like that. Yeah, it's very important. Very, very important. So if you're talking about your 401k, you're talking about your capital gains, or even your real estate gains, right? You know, especially if you're investing in different states, you need to have very good accountant, right? Someone qualified. So please, firstly, do that. And I am not qualified to give you tax advice, so I can't, because firstly, I don't know where you're from, what state you're in, or even whether you're in the United States of America, right? Because some of you are in countries that do not have capital gain tax, and that's brilliant. You're brilliant. I don't know how you can do that, but if you can do that, right? Yeah, there are a million ways to do that, and there are ways to do that, and the rich do that. The poor can't, because they think it's not accessible, but I'm telling you it is. You can have access to that. Start thinking like a rich person, because you need to start making preparations to be rich. By the time you make preparations when you're rich, you're too late. You'll be losing all your money. So make preparations now as if you're rich, and when we get there, you're ready. All right? Okay. All right, I think we're done for today. Thank you very much. I truly appreciate your time. Probably a lot to review in today's video, but I hope you learned something. I will see you tomorrow. I will just check in and review your trades, so please share your trades if you have not. Have a great weekend ahead, yeah? And thank you for indulging me today. I'm sorry if I am not sounding too good, or annoying you with some weird sounds that I made today. I'm sorry about that. Thank you. I'll see you in the Discord server, guys. Thank you very much.